of the priorities is to verify insurance per transactions 270 and 271 from a clearinghouse. So it already starts to sound cryptic. 270 is when we send a request to the clearinghouse. 271 is when they come back to us with information. Verifying insurance at time of check-in promotes accuracy and patient satisfaction. Knowing who has a copay, deductible, or account balance helps prepare you with accurate information when requesting payments from patients. When you ask patients for money, ask in a positive tone of voice. Say, I see you have a copay of $20 today and a balance of $47.50 for a total of $67.50. How will you be making payment today? Pause and give the time patient to respond. Be kind and listen to the patient. As you'll see when we come down, there's going to be some plans that the deductible doesn't apply to the first 4 visits. Let the patient tell you. Okay? Listen to them. Do not ask the patient, would you like to make a payment today? Of course they would not like to make a payment. Always start with how will you be making a payment? So just starting out with how is going to make a difference in how you collect. Remember, we have let the patients know by a mass mailing letter to the patients that payment is due at time of service. It's also on the call point reminders. They've already heard this twice. Okay, so it's nothing new. And this also is not new information or new expectations. We just haven't been doing it. Okay? Any other practice, they're collecting copays and deductibles. Okay? I think this technology was purchased in 2010.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe so.
Right, so it just hasn't been used. It just hasn't been used the last several years, so we are using it now. So this applies to anyone who makes an appointment. If the appointment is scheduled for the current month, for example, January, check eligibility immediately and communicate to the patient what the carrier shows their benefits are and what payment will be expected at the time of service. Say, your visit will be approximately, I've got an X there because I don't want you to quote them in amount because it's going to be different every time, but approximately $100 due upon check-in. So now the 3rd time they've heard that they're going to have to pay at check-in. If the appointment is scheduled in a future month, it will need to be verified in the month the patient is scheduled, as plans and PCPs can be changed monthly, and deductibles can be reset or coverage can be terminated. So if someone schedules in February, we cannot verify their eligibility in January. Okay? Page 1 down. Okay, we did it. 2nd page. You see a lot of information. Verification of eligibility and claim benefits should be done prior to the visit when possible. We have some options listed for you. 1, the clearinghouse. And this is the button that you push from the patient's account. 2, the online resources. One HealthPort and payers' individual websites. 3, calling the insurance carrier. Sometimes it's necessary as a last resort to call payers. If you're unable to verify insurance or a patient has non-contracted insurance, notify the patient that prompt pay payment will be due at time of service. As a side note, while we're talking about non-contracted insurances, this week we've added insurance type choices for specific non-contracted insurers. Rather than just choosing non-contracted insurance, we ask that you choose the specific type of insurance that the patient has, even though we are not contracted with that carrier. You will see NCI, non-contracted insurer, behind the name of those insurers who are not contracted with. This also allows us to bill for services that may be billable, even though the carrier is not one we're contracted with. Having the correct information facilitates this process. So that's a new piece. You'll see that NCI.
Has anybody noticed those, or?
Yeah.
So you'll see the ones that we recently added. I hope it's okay to jump in, Dan.
Yep.
The ones we recently added were the Medicaid HMO plans, the Healthy Options. So that's AmeriGroup. So you'll now see AmeriGroup with an NCI behind the name, Coordinated Care, and what's the third one?
Oh, you're asking.
Yeah.
United Healthcare.
AmeriGroup.
Healthy Options.
Okay.
American?
AmeriGroup, coordinated care,
Community health care.
community health plan, that's
Oh,
right,
see,
community plan, yeah. So those are the three that you'll see. So in the past, you would have just chosen that generic non-contracted. Please don't do that anymore. Go ahead and choose the correct insurance, even though we're not contracted.
Okay, page 3. After successful eligibility has been run, document that you have interpreted benefit information and populate the notes section. Regardless of who ran the eligibility, it is the responsibility of the check-in person to view and interpret the verification information and collect the correct amount of monies upon check-in. We are running them at night in batches. They're not being interpreted. So it's the responsibility of check-in to interpret and collect the money. Additional policy information box should look something like this. There's some templates below to give you an idea of how to populate what you've interpreted. Office visit, verified active per, you're going to put in the name of the person that you spoke to, or clearinghouse, or OHP, whatever source you use so that we know, at which insurance company. Is it PPO, or do they have a PCP? If they have a PCP, you need to list the doctor's name. Office visit is covered at maybe 100%, maybe 50%, with $10, $20, $30, $40 copay. After $100, $500, $2,000 deductible has been met. As of today, patient has met the amount. Remaining deductible, your name and the date. If we don't know what's remaining, it's an incomplete verification. We still don't know what to ask for. So as we go through this, I have lots of examples for you, but we have to sometimes do the math. What is the deductible? How much have they met? What is remaining? Preventative physicals and well child checks. Verified active per clearinghouse, online, or name of insurance rep, with name of insurance company, PPO or PCP, and the doctor's name. Preventative care exam covered at, usually 100%, with no copay after no deductible. Limited to 1 exam per calendar year. As of today, patient is eligible, your name and date. Or you might say physical exams are not covered by the insurance plan. Medicare does not cover physical exams. Offer and collect prompt pay, $125 for physicals, adult physicals. Insurance verification, like I said, can be done online, whether we go through One Health Port or through the payers directly. So just because the clearinghouse button doesn't work, we have other tools. So we're getting more and more clearinghouse buttons active and working. Beth and her team will have an update for you. Patients, benefits and coverage type can vary by type of service. For example, preventative services such as a physical may not require a copay or be subject to deductible. After verification of benefits and eligibility, collect appropriate copay and deductible at time of check-in. Regents Boeing is a new one you're going to see. So instead of just saying Regents, we're now saying Regents Boeing.
Can I interject something here?
There you go.
Okay, I don't know a lot of people in this room, but apparently somebody named Clayton identified that.
Yes.
Superstar!
Right there! Yay!
You know, you guys are the ones out there on the front lines, and I think I'll just speak for you, Clayton. I think that you tried Primera instead of running it through Regents.
Oh,
And so now Beth knows what magic she needs to work behind the scenes on the Regents Boeing. So those two are going to make it so that for those Boeing patients, previously you couldn't run eligibility the way it was set up. Now you're going to be able to as soon as Beth explains the part that she's completing.
Yeah, it was really good. That stood out. There has been, I have to say, Clayton, that was awesome, but there's also been several of you that have given me feedback. You've all been participating, and each of it, you know, each tip has been really valuable for me. So keep that coming. Don't ever feel like you're bombarding me with questions. I want to see that stuff coming back. And just acknowledge everybody that's been participating because it's been awesome.
I think a lot of people have really been, you know, talking and asking questions, and that gives you or I or us different places. It gives us a clue of where we need to look to fix something. So all of it's appreciated as we're working it out. If you see something or think of something, definitely pass it along, and we'll dig into it for you.
And this is where I left little blank spots for Barb to speak about Regions Going. Termination dates, looking for that. They're not always going to be active. Maybe their insurance has terminated. And then priority communications that we need to get to you. Beth has an update for you with the timeouts and, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. So there's a few different timeout errors that you guys are probably seeing. Error 42 right now is coming back, unable to respond at this time. That is likely a bad payer ID on that setup. You know, we've got hundreds and hundreds of carriers, and to go through each one and test them, it's been tedious and time consuming. So when you guys see that, that's probably what it is. Send that error to me. Now there's another error that you're likely seeing, which says attempted three times and no response from clearinghouse. Those ones we found that if you wait just a little bit and go back in and try it again, they'll usually go through. And part of that is because on the back end we're set up, all these transactions kind of gather and go every so often from one source. Kind of hard to explain, but we're working with GE right now to set it up so you can send and receive independently from your workstation. It's not set to do that right now, so transactions are crossing on the back end and tying things up and holding them up. And that's why you're seeing those errors. So we'll be fixing that over the coming months, but in the meantime, if you can just go back in, push the button after a few minutes. If you try it once or twice and it's still not going, well then you'll have to find another method to verify.
One of the other things that we were also noticed is if it gives you the message that it's tried 3 times and failed, if you click into the box, it's usually there, even though it says that.
Sometimes,
Okay.
but not always.
So, right.
So do look, and I've noticed that too.
Okay. Back on our 4th page. We'll likely see deductible multiple times when we start to see these transactions. Remember, you're looking for the deductible for the individual. When you see multiple individual deductibles listed, you want to look for service type 30 or 98. I have a key at the back of this that will tell you what a 30 and a 98 is, but for medical, not hospital, and we're also going to pay attention to time periods. So right here I put just a few of the most common keys. So 23 is calendar year, 24 is year to date, which is what they've incurred or paid year to date, and remaining, how much they have left to pay. So our first example 1 is deductible and remaining deductible. This is an actual response from United Healthcare. When we push the button on the computer, it'll populate the response type. You'll see the X12271. We know that that's a response from the payer. You can see the patient's, you can see the provider that we requested, the tax ID on the next page, I think it's page 5. You will see the patient's name, his ID, his group number, city, state, zip code, date of birth, gender, dependent, birth date, gender, insurer indicator, no relationship to subscriber, spouse. Date, plan began, 1/1/2013. The first thing that's highlighted is, and if you don't have color on yours, the color copier ran out of ink with all of this material tonight. We have another backup to come. So it should be highlighted, eligibility, benefit, information, active coverage. So we also have a key that 1 is active coverage. That's what we're looking for. Are they active? That's the first piece we look for. Then we can move on to highlight on here.
You can see there's a lot of information you're not going to be using in here.
And we
highlighted the parts.
There we go.
Page 7.
Yes.
There we go.
They're not numbered.
So the individual coverage level, the time period 24 is year to date. So they've paid $205.92 year to date. The in-plan network, yes, we're looking for in-network because we're contracted with United Healthcare. And then as you scroll down, you'll see the highlight. The eligibility benefit information, you'll see the C for deductible, coverage level, individual, service type 30, health benefit plan coverage. And then in red, it didn't show really well on the overhead, but it's the time period, 29, and that's what's remaining. So we know this patient still owes $944.08 on their individual deductible. In plan, yes, for in-network. Okay, then we have to scroll even further. This is all for the same patient.
This is how it comes
The
up every
next
time.
page,
All of
right.
this data.
The next
This is
page
why-
you'll see
To try and find it, you gotta know.
deductible, 23 time period calendar year, benefit amount 1150, in-plan network. So this is not always going to be in order. You have to know these codes to decipher. This patient has an $1,150 deductible. They've paid 200 and some change. They owe 900 additionally before insurance is going to pay. Okay? We're going to keep going, no questions, sorry. I'm going to keep moving just because I'm almost out of time.
We're still on the same patient.
Still on the same patient. You're going to find when you hit this big line, that's the end. Okay? What is happening, just so you know why we have so much information right now. Each plan is supposed to follow the keys. We're finding that the plans sometimes are using different, so we're asking for everything. Okay? So you'll see the keys at the end, I'll show you. Okay? So we're asking for everything right now so that we can get everything that we need as much as possible. And it's just a matter of, once you do 10 or 20 of these, it becomes pretty quick.
Renee, also looking to the future on this, we're working on sending just specific codes out. If we can't accomplish that through GE, we're going to write a script to pull those pieces out that we need and place them up top. So that'll be in the future. It could be several months out still, but it's coming.
And I wanted you to see what a co-insurance looks like. So the co-insurance is when a patient shares, and this is an in-network co-insurance. So again, the time period 27 means visit, so every visit this person has to pay 20%, even though they're in-network.
Yeah, on the very back, there's a description of the different copay, co-insurance, deductible, and what those mean. So you'll
Right,
have
you'll
that.
see the A and the B and the C.
So we may bill an insurance company $120, but the insurance company in our contract may say, well, Sound Family Medicine, you're only allowed to collect $100 for this service, whether it's from the insurance company or the patient. So what the insurance company says, out of that $100, they're going to pay 80% or $80, and the patient has to pay the other 20% or $20. That $20 or that 20% is co-insurance. It's the patient's portion of the responsibility of the allowable. Okay?
Not yet.
Just deductible and copay is all.
Right, the main thing is deductibles and copays. Copays we've been doing, deductibles, getting a hold of that. Deductible and copays, so when we go further, really should have numbered these down, huh? Right there. Where it starts with number 2, deductible with a copay and a preventative well visit.
Okay,
Gonna
just
flip through, there's a big space. I didn't have a chance to number, really should have done it. I apologize. Okay, deductible and copay and preventative well. This patient has a high deductible plan with their first 4 visits only having a copay and then additional visits applying to deductible. Okay, so it's not enough to know that they have a deductible. Now we have to know, does it apply to the first visit? So this is an example. I wanted you to see this patient is active. The next page, you'll see it's calendar year. They owe $7,500. Okay? Remaining, $6,293.31. But then you'll see at the very bottom, when you flip a few more pages to get some more highlights, you're going to see a message. And I've highlighted pretty much the whole page. It's so important. There's a copay. Every visit, time period 27, $35 for in-plan network. Frequency and pattern, 4 visits. Copay for first tier of visits, then deductible and co-insurance apply.
So this patient gets to be seen 4 times and only owes a copay. After those 4 visits, then their deductibles will.
That's
they will
right.
start playing. Okay. What'd she say?
You need to mark it in your financial notes.
This patient also has a co-insurance. So if you scroll down a little bit more, they have a co-insurance 30%. And if they go out of network, see how this one says out of network no, they have a 50%. So I just wanted you to start to see, we can start to translate this cryptic response if we know what the codes are. Okay, so now we're going to go to our next one. So this is all the same patient. The next one I want to show you, the very bottom, eligibility, benefit information, deductible, office visit well. Okay, calendar year, benefit amount, 0, in-plan network, yes. Coinsurance, individual, office visit well, 0, in-plan network, yes. So this is saying the patient has no coinsurance for their preventative visit. Now we have an example at the bottom of this of a DSHS patient that has healthy option coverage. So again, Beth has DSHS, and Molina working off of that button. We no longer have to go out and import in. So just getting DSHS and Molina saves time.
Yes. So if you run DSHS on a patient and the patient has opted into one of those non-contracted plans, when you run DSHS, you should be able to see which plan that they're now opted, which healthy options plan they've opted into. So we'll show you this one, I believe.
Yeah, so at the bottom of this one, you're going to
When
keep...
you run DSHS, you need to scroll to the very bottom, because if they left regular DSHS and opted into a healthy options plan, one of the non-contracteds,
There you
that
go.
will show at the bottom.
So again, always scrolling to the bottom, and it tells you they're on managed care. There's the phone number where you would call.
Yeah, and they're on coordinated care. That CCC name, CCC Healthy Options, is coordinated care through, what's the name of the company? Centera or something like that? Yeah.
Yes,
So
Centene.
CCC Healthy Options means it's coordinated care.
There we go, Centene Coordinated Care,
Yeah.
the 3 Cs. Okay, there we go. So
What does that mean?
it means that they're
Then
not
you're
on
gonna
Molina.
add the coordinated care as the insurance.
Do you have that in for us to put as a non-contracted or an NCI?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good,
Not to put
excellent.
in non-contracted generic, you're going to put in coordinated care.
Did you guys just hear Deanna? So you would find coordinated care listed under non-contracted. We have that loaded now. Okay, does that tie in? I gotta keep
I know, but
moving.
I need to add something to this because I get questions all the time. The Optum up here,
Oh.
don't use that as the healthy options. That's mental health. Just a side note,
point.
I know you said no questions, I apologize. I just want to shove that in there.
Clarification, is this a new financial class, non-contracted, that's been added to the?
No, these are going to still fall under these are still under the financial class of Medicaid. They're under care.
Okay, and insurance group is
Medicaid.
whatever it's gonna be, okay.
It's all going to still fall under Medicaid because they're Medicaid plans, and our reimbursements, when we do get them, are going to be Medicare, or Medicaid, I'm sorry. So it's all under that.
Okay, 3 more pages. Your third to last page, it says key time period qualifiers. So remember when we were seeing 23, 24, 27, 29? Those are the main ones that we're looking for. So you'll see every visit is a 27. So if you're looking for a copay, it's usually going to have a 27. Remaining is what they still owe. 24 year to date is what they've paid. 23 they're on calendar year. But here's all of the codes for the time. The next sheet is the eligibility and benefit information. So that one, that active coverage, that's what we're looking for. Inactive coverage. And then there's your key of your co-insurance, your copay, your deductible. So when you go back through that cryptic information, you can start to see they're talking about deductible for family. They're talking about deductible out of network. They're talking about deductible in network. They're giving you everything. We just have to find the ones that we need to make sense of it. The last pages, because not everybody works in insurance, we have insurance verifying key terms to know. If you have this happen, if you have an MA that has to sit up at the front desk and collect deductibles, that's not in her vocabulary, right? That happened this last week when I was out at Same Day Clinic. And so when I was talking in our medical office lingo and saying, hey, got a deductible, $650, paid $200, $450 remaining, I was talking a foreign language. Okay? It didn't make sense. So just remember that our patients, very intelligent. They may not know if they have a deductible or not. Clinical, very intelligent, but they don't work with this every day. Okay, so it could be something new to that patient or that clinical staff, and you're going to need to explain these key terms. So co-insurance, copay, deductible, effective date, preventative medicine, well visits, termination dates, HSA and HRA. So healthcare savings account and reimbursement accounts. If they hand you a debit card or a credit card, if it says Visa, MasterCard, run it as if it's a payment. It's usually just a healthcare spending account. So there's longer explanations on here, but I am way over on my time. Okay, so here's, yeah, we're over. And you have a test. So this last 3 pages you're going to want to keep with you. And if you have questions, email them, and we'll revisit it at the next training. Okay, I know it's a lot of information. The next thing that we're going to do,
They can't take this out of the room with them because there's patient information
Right.
there. So, but if you want a copy, we can email you a copy with that
Yeah.
redacted.
Can they take just the
Yeah.
last 3 pages?
You can take